Today we're going to make eggplant torta, which is kind of like a Filipino omelet. First off, you're going to start by slicing a large eggplant. I prefer the large eggplant because it's a little bit firmer in meat, and also it makes for a better omelet. As you can see, I'm slicing it into different thicknesses, and this is because my husband prefers thinner slices, and I prefer thicker slices, so you can do whichever you prefer. After slicing the eggplant, you're going to want to salt both sides, and you're going to want to salt it liberally. It doesn't matter how much you put on, because you'll be rinsing it off later, so don't worry about high sodium issues. I like to stack them up on each other after I coat both sides. It just helps to save space. Next, you're going to want to start up your frying pan. I like to put it on medium heat. Here I'm using olive oil, and I'm going to fry up 3 tilapia fillets. I'm going to fry them whole and break them apart as they cook, but if you prefer, you can cut it up before you start cooking. Either way, what you end up with should be minced fried fish. When you're done frying your fish, remove it from the heat and set it aside in a separate container. Now we go back to our eggplant slices, which we previously covered in salt. If you look closely at this stack, you'll actually see liquid dripping from the eggplant slices. These are the juices of the eggplant that some people consider to be bitter. So if you're the kind of person who thinks eggplant is bitter, perhaps this kind of preparation is something you should try. Now you're going to take your eggplant slices and rinse off all of the salt. Rinse off from both sides and rinse it off completely. You don't want your torta to be too salty. After the rinsing is complete, you'll simply pat dry with a paper towel. You don't have to pat them completely dry, but just remove the excess water. That way you'll get less splatters when you start frying your torta. Now we'll prepare the egg mixture. Take the minced fried fish from earlier and add some eggs. The amount of eggs you add will be dependent upon how much fish you have. Mix until well blended. You want your mixture to be thick enough to cover your eggplant slices, but not so thick that they fall off in chunks. You also want it to be thin enough that it'll actually stick to your eggplant slices. Now back to your pan. You can use the same pan as you used earlier, which will help save on dishes. I like to use olive oil, as always, and heat it on about medium heat, maybe a little bit lower. Once it's up to the right temperature, you'll coat both sides of your eggplant slices in your egg mixture and gently place it in the pan. I like to cook 3 at a time, simply because that works best with the amount of cooking surface I have. Use your best judgment in this case. You're going to want to cook them until they're golden brown on both sides. So once one side is golden brown, flip it over and cook the other. When you're done cooking, simply set aside on another plate. I like to eat my torta with a soy sauce and vinegar mixture. It's really more vinegar than soy sauce, though. Some people also like to add crushed garlic, salt, and pepper. Here, I'm just going to use a very simple recipe. And here you have your finished dish. It's best served with fresh steamed rice, and just to add a little bit of saltiness, I've put some dilis on the side, which is basically salted dried fish. To balance out the saltiness of the dilis, I've added some freshly sliced tomato. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.